Hey everybody, I'm going to do some live analysis before the markets open, and I'm actually going to analyze quite a few pairs here. Um, I'm literally just turning my computer on, so we're going to look at this from scratch just as I am looking at it. So here is US dollar yen. Let's get as much of this trend as possible. All right, looks like we got to start here. It's a strong trend. So I'm going to make that a straight line. We'll get one on the top. It's a tough one to pick a start for on the top. Really might not have a strong resistance on this trend. But for now, we will call it there. We're up towards the top of price anyway, so keep that in mind. And I really can't see price breaking that point, but really what we're waiting for is a break below this trend. Let's see where we are. A break below this trend, as you can see from past breaks, that drops pretty rapidly. So we are right here currently, which is kind of a neutral zone. Right here, I would say, would be our next zone. And really what I'm looking for is a major price zone. So I'm going to call that the bottom for now. So if this trend continues, I just don't see it going any higher than that. If we look at even bigger time frame, I think it shows this trade could have massive potential. And we do see a trend pattern here on the weekly, which actually shows we are pretty much maxed out on that trend. If I can get the lines right. So on the weekly, we're touching here, 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 and currently we're touching here. So we also have a bottom on this, I think. It's not going to be very clear, but so what I'm looking for is two things. I believe we have a long ways to drop. Once we hit this bottom line here, that's where it could get exciting, which I'm kind of hoping for a fast, massive drop where we're hitting this trend line and support right here at 105. If we break through that, then this trade is going to drop super far. This 10, like about 100.2 would be the next level. That's huge. And the good thing is, I can promise eventually it's going to do that. If you're a long hold trader, there's some serious targets down here. But right now, we're just waiting to see what happens with this trend that we got going on. So we hit this hard on the weekly, and if you look, that is a super strong reversal pattern. So I cannot see this not breaking through this trend that it's in right here. We're towards the top of the RSI on the weekly, so I would say once we break 110.24 roughly, we're gonna keep dropping. I mean, I'm confident in this trade to come all the way down to here, to say for now 106. If we break above this trend here, which I just don't see happening, then we're in danger of the 114 area. But I just don't see it happening. So right now, I am extremely bearish on USD yen. I think this line can actually be adjusted on the daily. So right now it's hitting a strong support on the daily right here. And third hit, I can't see it not breaking through this next time and coming down by the end of the week, 108 roughly. But that's just a prediction really until we see what happens when the market opens. Down on the RSI, right here towards the middle, we see a lot of resistance both going up and down, which we're currently at. I think pretty much any time that it's hit the top, it's come all the way down. So we rode the top here pretty hard. So I just don't see it coming back up, and this is our trend right here. If you look at the RSI, you can see price here where the trend starts, and trend comes up, but this area here has broken the trend on the RSI, which is a slight form of divergence and does show that a change is coming. So that's another indication to me that a bearish movement is going to happen here. So if you see this trend basically stops here, and this line doesn't make it to this line. So this should be higher than that. So that's a good indication of bearish movement to come. Hopefully people sold when it was up here. I've been jumping in and out of this trade, so this is basically what I'm looking at. Can't give a real strong prediction until we break out of this trend. But everybody should keep an eye on it. When we break below it, we could come retest and then back down. So that's a trade to watch. Let's move to another. The Euro British Pound. I believe I'm looking at this to come one more trip up to here. We got good resistance right there. I think we hit this resistance and it rejected. Where are we at the bottom? Yeah, there's some good support where it's reversing right now. So basically here, I'm going to try to keep this one simple. Get rid of that line. And we are on the daily here, so still a big trade from here to here. Let's see what kind of trend we got going on. Got a clear support line for the trend, which it hit the trend and this price action, so we need to be aware of that. Price kind of moved into this horizontally, so we do got a reversal happening at support, so I can't see this not climbing straight up to this resistance level at 8.89580. From there, I'm going to watch it to move up to let's call it 0.9. And from there, I would expect, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because we do have a trend there. And I'm going to try to just mark these quickly, so some of them might be imperfect. But we had a trend, prices breaking, it broke out, retested. Remember, glad this is doing that. Almost any time a price breaks a trend, it always comes back and retests before moving. So I'm going to mark one more level up here and then kind of see where we are in the big picture of things. I'm just going to mark it there. So short term, I'm looking for a reversal here and then see if we can make it up to here. Follow this trend. I mean, if it's respecting this trend up and down, up and down, up and down, then we can keep buying and selling that as it goes up. That's really all we can say with it right now. Is I think when the market opens, I might see where it goes and I might take a buy up to this level and just see if it breaks through or reverses and to close that. The big picture is we have a long ways to go down, pretty much, is the big picture. This is back to 2011. So that each spike here, we got 1, 2, might have a third hit. If we reverse up here, then we definitely want to sell right away. Because it looks like we're going to come back down to here in the somewhat near future. So great long hold position down to here. Once we hit this resistance level up here and get a reversal, be a lot of money to make from there to there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with this pair. Let's look real quick at what RSI is. Yeah, we're just hitting the top. That's on the daily. Let's see what the 4-hour says. So on the 4-hour, we got a ways to go up. Which makes sense. So yeah, this is looking like a good buy to here. And then we'll have to see what happens here. As you can see, it's each spike hits resistance, it comes back, resistance back. So these are great opportunities to make a lot of money in between, as long as you got your reversal candles down and all that good stuff. I love choppiness, so you can sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy. So moving on to the next pair, which is Euro. What do we got going on here? Let's get rid of everything. All right, so we have a clear bottom that we're seeing here. Wait. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna look something up. Okay, I'm back. So on the daily, let's look here. We're just going to call that the top. I mean, we're dating back to 2011 back here, so that's a strong top, and we're near it, so we know long term we have a long ways to drop. I'm not going to draw this. Well, yes, I am. Start with a trend here. If it'll let me draw the damn thing. So we had a trend. God. Again, I'm not going to mark these perfectly. So we had a trend, it broke. It is, I'm guessing it retested, yeah. So it broke the trend, retested, just like we know always happens. Trend breaks, retests, bounce. So obviously, we're looking for this to drop like a ton of bricks. So let's mark this. So what we're looking for is a break of that box, plain and simple. I would almost guarantee this is going to be bearish this week. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. Right now, we had a bearish reversal. It could bounce in this for a week. It's hard to say. But I will not take a buy on this since we are so close to the top. I'm not going to risk that. Although a break above might be a good buy to this point, but I'm just not going to mess with things like that. So what we're looking for is a breakdown. The obvious is a 50%, which takes us to this level roughly. That's small potatoes though. So what I would do on this is look a little bit longer term, and I think that's the first target. I'll look for another really strong level. I don't see this not coming down to here. And then of course we have down here. So long term, obviously, this is a great one. And if you look, we almost have a head and shoulders pattern. So we got right shoulder, left shoulder, and then the head. So we know from that, that takes us down to this next support level. If you measure from the top of the head, some people will measure from the shorter shoulder to the neckline, which is where everything touches here. And then they'll take a trade from there, from that distance, which is basically measuring the shorter shoulder and then selling to there, which matches up too. So on a head and shoulders trade, I would give that as target 1, and then down here is target 2. So obviously when this drops, it's going to form the head and shoulders. So I'm half tempted to see if it comes back to the top of here and then just sell and let it ride, even if it does continue to bounce. At least we got in up here. Even if it retraces there, I'm still in for this huge drop. Now if we look at, I guess that's a big enough picture. This is back to here, that was 2009, so we have stayed in this level for, well, we dropped hard below it in 2010 and 2013 till now. We've been in this level here, and almost looks like a head and shoulders over the huge time frame, which would bring us back down to here. I don't see us coming back up into this area anytime soon. but it looks like it toyed around with the thought of it, but rejected hard there. So that rejection on this try, I'm just confident it's going to push it back down to here, maybe down to here. So that is the Euro Aussie dollar. Keep an eye on that. Make your own decision on what to do, if you want to long hold it down or you want to try to catch shorter trades. Next is the Euro Yen. I think the only reason, I don't know what I had going on here. Let me look at a big picture of this. So back to 2012, up, retrace. So we had a low, a high, a higher low. This low is higher than this one. A lower high. So what I expect is a lower low from this. So that said, let's see. Percent is here. So if I measure from here to the top, the 50% measurement is right here. So I want to show you something. So that's our 50% measurement. Let me get rid of this. So when price drops to here, and if it breaks through, then our Fibonacci measurement is broken. So we can expect potentially another 50%. That is so annoying. So we put our 50% from here to the bottom of the previous low. Then price should retrace from there another 50%. So, which brings us down come on. Which brings us down to this low, and then from there, is this on the daily? Why is it doing this? All right, so it brings us down to here where we've hit several times. I would say, I'm gonna get rid of this because it's driving me crazy. I don't know why it's not, oh, that's back to 94, that's why. So we could be going to all-time lows again, is what I'm seeing. It almost looks like a retrace of that. Let me look at it. So we had that, an M, a dip, another dip, and then price came back up. So if I clone that, it almost looks like we have that pattern going there. We've got our spike here, and then price should come back down, dip, down, and then start the process over again. If that's the case, this low was lower, so this next one could be even lower. The next high here could end up being roughly here. But for now, let's focus on one thing at a time. So that's a strong level. Let's go back to the daily. Okay, so we need a break of that. And that. Sorry if this one's getting confusing, because there's a lot happening here. There's no trend really there. That's a hard reversal though, so I expect that to keep going. Nope, no pattern. So right now we're just watching to see if we break through this support and keep coming down. So basically we're just price action watching it for now. Long term though, I do see a big drop happening. So let's just wait and see on this one from here. I don't think I would try to get in a trade here. If we broke this one, I'd probably take a trade down and then just wait to see if it keeps dropping. But for now, I'm not going to touch that one. Euro US dollar has been a real pain in the ass. Got a little bit of a trend going here. I don't see a possibility of price not making it to here. And there. So right now, this is what I'm looking for. I think we hit a pretty strong support there. So that's what we're looking for, is a dip below this current support could take us back down here. I don't see price falling lower than that anytime soon, but you never know. Once we break this, I think we could push really high. Long term, we could come back up to this direction. If you measure just your Fibonacci, and I'll maybe measure it from here. When we hit there, we're gonna, yeah, I don't see this not making it to here, 1.2. But if we fall below this 1.156, that's when it can get dangerous. So right now, I'm not a big fan of trading this pair anyway, but it's not an awful time to place a buy and hold out for that. As long as we stay above this, you can put a stop loss down here. But yeah, that's it for this one. I'm going to try to speed this up. Or NZD CAD I made a great profit from there to there, and then kind of an unexpected reversal. So I got out as it was starting. I still see a lot of movement up on this one. Well, if it ever loads, there's a trend right there. Give it a second. Come on. Come on. So anyway, what we can see here is this trend. Basically, I'll call it that. So back to 2015, we got our tops. That's so annoying. Just call it average, because this broke out, and that could have been a fundamental thing. But anyway, It's got a long ways to go up if we stay on this trend. So what we're looking for is it to respect here. This is where I initially entered, which we still have a really strong reversal candle going there. We need to break. Wait, this is the daily. Never mind. The lowest target I see for this is here. If you measure Fibonacci, I'll measure it again from even there. Takes us up to 0.889, which makes sense with the neckline of that. So I'll mark a level there. So let me remove that. So I expect price to come up to here. It may bounce back down, but it's going to break here. Obviously, when we break this, we'll see price hit here. We could close, take our profits, sell it to here if it reverses, or long-term hold. We'll call it, since this doesn't have a clear top of this trend, I can't do that either. The reason I like these trend lines is if, what are you doing? As soon as this is broken, like up, it tells you it's going to go up further. Then you can remove this line. Obviously, our top goal is going to be up here somewhere. So currently, we're waiting to break these so we can make trades from here to here up to this line. When it breaks this level, then we're going to watch it go up to this level, and then eventually, hopefully, it'll make it up to here. So this is where it's good to have such a strong idea of the direction price is going, and to have the bottom so close. So if we broke below here, we would know to close any buy trades that we have. So as long as we stay above this trend line, we are buying. Shorter term, I'll show you on the 4-hour. Shorter term, these levels are smaller, so it shows you the kinds of trades that we can make up and down, up and down. Again, if you're a long-termer, you're just going to want to get in down here and hold till big profits come. So as long as we're marking our price action and watching when price hits it, and if you want to close your profits there and then wait for re-entry, that's a strong method. So let's move on. And OddCat is another one. We hit RSI there and it's coming back down. I'm guessing it's going to come back down to 0.96640 and then bounce back up. The big picture on this, if I can get it in the screen, as you can see back, that's the daily. So this one is super choppy. This is 2014. The bottom is quite a ways down there, so we have to be careful of that. But we got a lot of support right through the middle here. On the daily, we're pushing down near the point or the 30 range of RSI, so we'd be looking to buy. And here is the bottom of that trend, so it is a ways down there, but this doesn't necessarily meet all my rules of safe trade. But here's our strong support trend line in the blue. So kind of what I'm expecting is at least a move up to here, this red line, which is 0.9712. Let's see where Fibonacci measures, which is that red line. So we have a previous lower or a higher low, and then we made a lower low, which would indicate we're going to keep going lower. So what we're doing is just basically catching a Fibonacci level here. So be cautious with this one. I would say if we hit this level and didn't get a reversal right away, this would be a good one to jump out of this trade. We did come up quite a ways and then come back down, but I don't see this not reaching this target level up here. So here's another frustrating pair. The pound and the dollar, which I do anticipate to drop quite a ways. So we just retraced 50% off that, which without measuring it, I can tell. So we actually at 0.618, and now I expect a lower low, which is going to be down to this range. Can't see anything on here. So we are on the daily. It's so frustrating. So without being perfect, just leave it there. So we did almost retrace down 50%. So what I'll do in that situation, mark a line on the 50. So once we break below this line, it's pretty given that we're at least going to match this one. So a break below here is coming to here. Break below that is coming down to here. Just to follow the trend. So we have some levels here we can watch at least. So here's the level it's in now. A break below is going to take us to here. It could bounce. Break below is going to take us to trend, and then we're looking for a buy back up. I think the way things are going, we are looking at dropping pretty far on this. I think we're going to end up dropping down that far. If I can get the view in there. And the reason is there's I haven't taught this method yet, but this wave retraced 50%, which actually tells me price is going to come down to the A at minimum, and if it breaks that, that's going to create a new pattern. But the reason I'm choosing this area down here, which actually should be there, is to match this bottom here. That's a long-term trade though, super long-term, but it's a ABC Elliott wave kind of modified to my own liking. I'm not going to go into detail on that as of now, but we'll be going through that later. So potentially I can see this trend staying in true form all the way down. So that's my guidelines I'm going to be watching for this. We may poke out and create some highs, and in that case I'll add another trend line. But right now I'm watching this bounce all the way down. A break above this defeats my plan here, and then I'll reanalyze. But as of right now, I'm just watching it stay in this channel. And that is it on that one. Euro and Swiss franc. Almost a odd head and shoulders. We're somewhat pushing up high. We started up in here in 2017. Made a high, a low, a higher high, lower low, a lower high. So a lower low looks very possible. This one's a little bit trickier. So we did retrace over 50% there. 50% is down here. Mark that. Get rid of that. And do we have a price level here? Close. So right now, that level, there's problems there, there's problems in there and there. So right now, I see price coming down to here. I'd expect eventually to break all the way down to here. So if we have, let's just call this a low, a high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low. So what we need to determine whether we're going to have a lower low or not is this level here to be broken. So really that's all I'm watching for right now, besides the fact that we created a lower high from this one. You can see a pattern right there going down, which I'll just quickly mark. So a lower low would be down here. So really right now we're just watching this 1.154 area to see if we break through. If we break through, I expect a lower low to happen. I'm going to pause one more time. Okay. Which one were we just doing? Okay, anyway. So with this said, we also have a pattern coming right here. If we mark this trend, we can add a little confirmation to things, which again, don't go by mine. I'm not going to mark them perfect. So a break below this line too would indicate we're going to come at least to here. If we break this, we're going to come down to here at least. If we break this, we're going to come down to here. I actually see it coming down here, just the fact that we have, we're near the top. Yeah. There's not a whole lot I can say about it right now until we get some confirmation on these levels here. But long term, we're coming down here. I don't see any other possibility. I think eventually, we're going to hit this line somewhere, maybe over here. So right now, we are in this zone. So until this zone is broken, we can't move on to our next theory. So that's how I like to chart things, is put as many trends in as possible. And then once that's broken, I already have my next ideas mapped out. Right now, it just looks like a whole bunch of lines, but I know breaking this trend is going to bring us to here. This is our 50% Fibonacci measurement. So a break below that is going to indicate a potential lower low, which is going to bring us down to here long term. So I'm going to try to keep this more analysis and not so much trying to teach things I haven't taught yet. So US dollar, Swiss franc, the obvious thing here is we are at very high levels in price. I'm going to look at this on the weekly real fast. So the weekly, we're talking, I don't want to look that far back. Let's look back to 2015, which is there. So we had a wave up, and now a wave down, wave up, wave down. We're matching the high of our last high, which indicates to me we're going to match the previous low potentially. The smart thing to do here is to see our 50% level, which is roughly there. Yeah, this one's going to be, these are the ones I like to trade long term because we're up so high in price. We can make a ceiling for it there. What else we got going on here? Kind of got it. We've got a W, which would also mean price is coming back down. We also have a trend going right there. Let's go back to the daily. So if we mark this trend, so that's what we're in right now with the ceiling here. If we broke above that ceiling, we could be in trouble on the shorter term. But this is where you guys should mark your price action and kind of just follow this as it breaks through different levels. So right there's going to be a strong, super strong level. So once we break this trend and we hit this point, if we break through here, then I think we're going to drop like a ton of bricks. There we retrace 50, we retraced up 50. So let's see what we did here. So we basically we did retrace 50 on this candlestick. So if we break above that 50, if we break above 0.618, we're probably going to come back up to here. But what I'm going to be watching for is just a break below this trend line. You can already see it's pushing hard to get through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row now. So it's not wanting to go up any higher, which means there's more sellers than buyers on the market. So I can't see price not being pushed down below this trend. And it'd be nice to create a lower low, which would be below there, somewhere down here. That would be a target for long term. Yeah. So that's all I can say right now with this, is we need to break below this trend line and get down here. I don't know what I got going on here. This one's been frustrating me too. So you can see it's been in this huge long trend since basically September 2016, and now we're stuck in the bottom portion, which could mean we're getting too high in price and the sellers are taking over. If you look at this level here, that's where things started struggling in the past, which is where we are currently. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's exactly where we are right now, with price repeatedly, just like US dollar, Swiss franc, price is repeatedly trying to get below that. So that's a huge indication that sellers are trying to take over. Once we break below this trend line, then the fun really begins. So a break below is probably going to be a retest, and then we're going to start hitting these levels, previous levels here, and potentially all the way down to here. So short term, let's just wait and see if this gets below this level here. Once it gets cornered by this trend line and this support line, then it's going to start pushing further. So once you see something repeatedly hovering on something trying to break through, eventually it weakens it, and finally the sellers just jump in and it'll push it down. So great short opportunity on this one for this week, so I will keep an eye on it. Sometimes I'm watching 16 pairs at a time, so I'm gonna miss things as they happen. So hopefully you guys can catch some of the things that I miss. I think this is the last one, right? Yeah. So New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. I see this one flying up. Here, let's just mark a trend. No. Not a very clear top of the trend. We had some fundamentals that pushed it below there, and now we have some consolidation. So this could be interesting. And within that trend, we have a smaller trend. Which I thoroughly love, because now we have a price zone to watch. So this is the daily, right? Okay, so yeah. So what we're gonna do here is you have the choice to buy, sell in the zone, or wait for a breakout. A breakout below is gonna take us to support. But you don't see very often several hits on support. There's almost 3 here. This pattern here almost looks like that one. I definitely see this going higher, which trying to find a middle ground here. My eye likes that level as kind of a median level. Let's measure our Fibonacci from here to here, which we retraced 50. Since it retraced the 50 and it started coming back down, and as it comes down, it says, oh crap, we're down by the support of this trend. So now buyers are starting to jump in because we need obviously push this up because nobody wants to take a sell down at this level. The longer term traders don't want to sell something that's this close to a support. So this is going to be a matter of pushing until enough buyers come in and push this market up. But long term on this, I don't see not hitting this trend line up here. Once we break this 50% level, this level should be absolutely our next one in sight. We might get a retrace and then push back up, but for right now, all we're wanting is a break of this level here. So we had price move up, so it should leave going up because of this trend analysis here. So hopefully that, I mean, that's a long video. I was trying to make it a little bit shorter, but hopefully that gives everybody some trading ideas and some confidence going into this week. So I will be talking to you later today maybe, or definitely all week. Let's make some money.